be together.
The true beauty of music is that it connects people. It carries a message. It speaks to you. It changes you. And that's exactly what we do just for you every Sunday as we take you to Urban Paradise, 9:10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Urban Paradise is our weekly musical journey that will serve up 110 glorious minutes of positive storytelling through music, mixed in with inspirational features to provoke thought and to heal the soul.
You're like a dream come true. Just wanna be with you.
So join me, Diane Ashton Smith, this and every Sunday, 9:10 a.m. to 11 a.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. Urban Paradise, opening our hearts, connecting to others.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all schoolers who are taking beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team, Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Me sing. Only for pressure, no. You're illiterate and foolish, you might on a cook. And you're not gonna get no work, and your teeth like...
Welcome back to the A-Team Radio Show. Good evening, everyone. Did I say welcome back? Oh, well, right. Welcome back. It's another week. It's another Friday evening. You're listening to the voice of Damon Scarlett, and I want to say to those persons who are on their way home that pray that you get home safely. And as you're listening in, I know that a number of our schools will be out and they're getting ready for the holidays and all of that. But we are winding down for 2025. But what better way than to have another special guest on a Friday, because even though we're going to be on holidays, you still have work to do. We have CXC, we have Cape, and we just want to jump right into tonight's focus, and we're going to be talking about principles of accounts. Now, yes, it's a numeric course subject, but there are some other theoretical things that you need to understand and to get the terms and to know what they're talking about. And when we talk about principles of account, it's a core business subject offered at the CSEC level, and the syllabus is designed by the Caribbean Examinations Council to provide students with a strong foundation in financial record keeping, accounting principles, and business decision making. And we all use money every day, and some of us, we still want to start businesses and all of that. So we need to know the principles behind spending money and how we plan wise or prudent financial management. Here this evening to talk to us all about that is no stranger to the Nationwide family, no stranger to the A-Team Radio Show, Damien Chippy. Evening, Damien. What's up?
Not bad at all, Damien.
Great. And of course, Damien is from Chippy's Tutoring Services, a privately owned educational institution that's offering subjects, of course, at the CSEC level as well. Principles of account is one of them, and you also do POB mathematics.
We offer the wide range of CSEC subjects, CAPE, and we do PEP.
Right. Okay. All right. Oh, PEP as well.
Yeah.
Wow. So they're starting from the younger ones coming up. But tonight we want to focus on another area of this syllabus where we talk about control accounts. We want to touch on that, as well as the whole matter of accruals and prepayment accounts. Let us also touch on a little of errors and statement of affairs. So now we talk about the purpose of why students are studying this. Of course, again, to develop an understanding of basic accounting principles and the concepts. And I remember when I started to do accounts, Damien, it's much more talk about the whole matter of ensuring there's accuracy and understanding the responsibility that you have, and how you prepare and interpret financial statements. So I know we're going to jump into it, but how have things been? And in terms of I know you have a marathon that is going on.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that before we jump into tonight's focus.
All right. The marathon that we're having at CTS is simply to just push ahead with the syllabus, as well as to get students more desensitized to the actual past paper question, how to respond to questions. So that's what we're doing in this phase of marathon. So it's really every year coming down to Christmas, we have marathon, and that is to serve for those two purposes. Push ahead with the syllabus, because I prepare the students in less than a year for a 2-year syllabus.
Yes.
And then also to give them some perspective of how to approach questions in the exam.
Okay. And that's great. And so far, based on where the students are at, do you believe that they're getting there? They're ready.
They're getting there. They will get there, I must say. I mean, despite some of them, not so confident and don't believe that they can. They're having issues, which is normal. I mean, now is the time to have all the issues. So that's what we're doing. We're ironing it out. All right. So. Based on history, with me doing this on a year-on-year basis, students, they're still at a steep hill, going over that trajectory of getting ready.
Yes, and that's good, and that's what we're here for. When I think about accounts, I remember one thing that stood out, and I guess this is a principle as well, that every corresponding debit must have a corresponding credit, right?
Double entry ruling.
The double entry ruling. That's always in my memory. But we're not talking about double entry
no, not tonight.
We were looking at the area of the syllabus where the students really need to lock in. So let's talk about that. Control accounts, right?
All right. Yes. So the topics that you listed earlier, control accounts, accruals and prepayment, errors, statement of affairs, they're all a part of the adjustment topics.
Yes.
What do I mean by the adjustment topics in the CSEC POA syllabus? That area deals with to get the true accuracy of some figures to enter into the final accounts, and the final accounts, as we know, is the income statement and balance sheet, and I also dare say cash flow statement. All right, although CXC start engaging with cash flow for probably for the last 3-4 years. Yes. And
the adjustment, is it specifically to trial balance, as an adjustment to the trial balance?
So yes, these are also adjustment to the trial balance, because when the trial balance is first prepared, the reality is that there are some activities that may take place either at the time the trial balance is being prepared and even after it's been prepared, that need to be incorporated in the final accounts. Because these activities take place at the end of the period, so there need to be adjustment. There need to be adjustment in order to correct certain errors that they may exist. Yes, there need to be adjustment in finding the true figures, because if you don't be careful, you may be misguided in regards to certain figures. So control accounts is there for doing that. The accruals and prepayment is to ensure that the expense or revenue that is earned for a period, that's the expense or every revenue that is actually being recorded for a period. Yes, so that's what the adjustment topic does. So focusing on control accounts first, all right?
Right.
For students, at this point in time, you may have some teachers who would have covered that at this point in time. Not necessarily all teachers would have reached that point, I said, depending on the way of getting the students ready, the part that they take in getting the students ready. Now, but control account, layman term. I mean, I know this is radio, so I just want to be as layman term as possible. That even students who are doing the account, they can relate to me. All right, they can. I mean, even if you don't do the topic as yet, you can. When your teacher started, you kind of familiar with what it does.
Okay.
In layman term, control accounts under the CSEC syllabus is used to determine the total debtors or total creditors
yes.
in the business. All right. The control account is also used to determine the sales figures or the purchases figures if it's actually true. You understand me?
Right.
And so
all of this is in the general ledger.
So all of these, by the way, as we talk about general ledger, they may be cautious in doing that because there are 3 ledgers.
All right.
So you have the purchases ledger, sales ledger, and you have the general ledger. Now, for the purchases and sales ledger, the control account is focusing mainly because that's where you find debtors and creditor. The purchases ledger is for creditor, the sales ledger is for debtor.
Debtors, yeah.
So since you're doing total debtors and total creditors for the general for the ledger, it would have actually the accumulation. So the total debtor is the accumulation of all the debtors in the sales ledger, and the total creditor is the accumulation of all the creditors in the purchases ledger.
Right.
So students tend to have a warm time understanding the notion that purchases is not found in purchases ledger and the sales is not found in the sales ledger. So that's a confusion. So when teaching that topic, teachers would want to ensure that they demonstrate to the students that, look, at no point in time, sales and purchases are found in these type of ledgers. These type of ledgers are called personal ledger, meaning that it's the name of a person or an entity that is a debtor or creditor to the business. You understand me?
And so then in the control account, so that would now become a debtor's control.
So good. So you have 2 major type of control account.
All right, before you go into the 2 types, let's take the first break and when we come back much more. We're talking about principles of account, and this is the CXC syllabus we're looking at as well. Soon come. This is the A-Team Radio Show.
Your teeth like a puss, send me granny with a purse. I eat you off a joke. If I see them, I hold your red and big tonight.
Merry Money Mania loan promotion. This Christmas, borrow big and win bigger. Get loans of $1.5 million or $2 million at specially reduced rates. Plus, a chance to win your share of $1 million. New customers get double entries. Hurry! The promotion runs October 15 to December 19, 2025. Visit any branch or chrisandcharles.com for details. Chris and Charles, making Christmas merry. Conditions apply.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM with Pepita and Honeybee from 3 to 5 p.m. as we broadcast live from Megamart Waterloo, Saturday, December 20. Pepita and Honeybee plus Megamart equals a festive customer appreciation celebration. Join us at Megamart Waterloo for the customer appreciation festivities, samplings, entertainment, and more. Pepita and Honeybee are doing it mega with Megamart. Come be part of the mega broadcast with Pepita and Honeybee, Saturday, December 20, 2025 at Megamart Waterloo from 3 to 5 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Me sing. Every pressure on no more. You're illiterate and foolish, you might on a cook. And you're not gonna get no work, and your teeth like a puss. Send me granny with a purse. I eat you off a joke.
Welcome back to our show. This evening we are looking at CXC accounts, and if you're just joining us, we're here with Damian Chippy, and he's carrying us through the syllabus, and we're looking at tonight control accounts. That's where we have started with control accounts, I should say. And just before the break, we were talking about the 2 types of the control accounts. So let's pick up from there. Yeah.
All right. So the 2 type of control account, as it would be, easily guessed, is on the basis that 1, you have the total debtor control account.
Yeah.
Again, the name that is associated with this is called sales ledger control account. Right. Because one could just imagine debtors are found in the sales ledger. You get that?
Right.
Good. Now, there are some new name association to the debtors, which is accounts receivable control account. Is it still
okay.
debt? Is it still debtor control account? Because accounts receivable,
Right.
receivables are debtors. Then we have
Purchases.
the other type of control account is the purchases ledger control account.
Right.
All right, and again, remember in the purchases ledger, creditors are found
There.
in the purchases ledger control account. So hence, the name that is associated with it
Accounts.
is called total creditors control account.
Okay, total creditors.
And total creditor by creditors by extension is also known as accounts payables.
Because that's what came to my mind because I say that accounts payable, right?
Good. All right. So the thing is that in order for students to really understand control accounts, although these type of accounts are called single entry, but they still have to understand the double entry that we speak about earlier.
Right.
We still have to understand the double entry ruling in order to know how to do the control account. Truth be told is that when teaching the control account, we normally have formats. Formats of the total debtor control account and the format of the total creditor control account. However, what I advise my students is that you don't have the format in the exam. You swatting it not going to work. You understand me?
Yeah.
No, and believe you me, every time you have one or two students who choose to ignore, they realize that what I'm saying makes a lot of sense. The aim is to try to understand the reason why you say a type of item is on a particular side and debit or
Right.
credit side.
And those then along those lines, then you have to be know to look at what are the key entries in
Good.
those specific accounts.
Right. As
Yeah.
you talk about key entries in regards to total debtor control account, the key entries are normally items that do affect the debtors,
Right.
like bad debt, sales return, credit sales. You understand me?
Discounts allowed.
Discount allowed. You understand me? Talk about dishonored check because sometimes a customer may pay you, but the check go bounce.
Bounce, right.
You understand me? We also talk about if a customer take too long to pay, we the business may charge them an interest.
Right.
And that interest that is being charged by the business is known as a revenue to the business. You understand me? Talk about bad debts. Now, bad debt is simply where the debt of the customer go bad on the basis that either the customer die or
Right.
they've gone in bankruptcy.
I have to account for that within the
You have to account.
ledger.
You have to account for
The
that as
control.
well, the control
Right.
account. Now, so for you to understand all these items that I'm speaking about, you must know the double entry ruling for these items. You understand me? So expenses like the bad debts, the discount allowed, these are all expenses. Expenses carry a debit balance. So when you record in the sales ledger control account, the corresponding entry would have been a credit balance. So in the sales ledger account, you find bad debt and discount allowed
Credit
on
side.
the credit side
Credit side,
in
yeah.
the sales ledger account. So you just have to understand the double entry ruling to really know how to do the single entry.
Along those lines, if you could clarify as well, 'cause what comes to mind is the whole matter of credit sales and the credit purchases. Right. This is a reminder of where does that fall?
All right. One, the credit sales, since we're talking about the sales of the control account, the credit sales in itself carry credit balance.
Right.
Because it represent goods gone out of the business, since the goods is an asset. So understand the double entry ruling, they will understand what I'm saying. Now, sales carry credit balance. So therefore, the entry in the credit sales in the sales of the control account is on the debit side.
Right.
So we talk about also a debtor paying us the business. So it's a receipt from debtors, either by cash or bank. You understand me? Or good. Cash or check. The check refers to the bank. You understand me?
Yeah.
Now, in your cash book, you're receiving the money. So it's on the receipt side, which is the debit side. So that means the corresponding entry in the sales of the control account, it must be on the credit side. You understand me?
Okay.
So these are very important topics that you have to understand in order to can do the control account. All right. Again, you have the format,
Right.
but swatting the format is not the way to go.
And I ask that too because sometimes if you're not careful, you will easily mix up the terms. You know,
That is true.
Right,
That is true.
Because again, like the credit sales, you need to know what the credit sales is.
Good. And also, students should know for control accounts that the credit sales or the cash sales or the cash purchase does not goes into the control account on the basis that if you sell something and you get immediate payment for it, there is no debtor or creditor.
Right.
That
But
is
once
really
they're going to pay
established
at
on
a
either part.
later date, then
Good. That's when. Because you won't have the name of the person in your book if they
Anymore.
don't owe you.
Right,
You
right.
don't owe them. You understand me? Good. So speaking on the purchases ledger control account, quickly now for the other students to understand the other side of it.
right.
No, it's less in CSEC, under CSEC syllabus, it's less as compounded as sales ledger control account. But again, we talk about items that do affect the creditors. Return outwards, discount receive,
cash
talk
paid.
about cash or check payment, talk about the credit purchases. You understand me? So these are very important items regarding the creditors.
Right.
So the truth is, these accounts, by the way, you see the same way you treat a single credit account,
Yeah.
it's the same way you treat the the purchases ledger control account. You understand me? So therefore, you know, again, discount receive is a revenue carries a credit balance. So in the control account, it will be on the debit side,
On
the
the debit
corresponding
side,
side. You understand me?
So whereas the discount allowed in the sales would be on the credit.
Good. The
Right.
discount receive in the purchases ledger control account will be on the debit side,
Okay.
because discount receive itself carry a credit entry, so the corresponding entry in the sales ledger purchases ledger control account must be on the debit side.
And so in doing up the accounts then, let's say a student would have entered, for example, the discount allowed on the credit side in the sales ledger control. Then that would have been incomplete. Would it be incomplete?
Come again, if they
No, if they just enter the one, the double entry still applies there, right?
no, although we're doing single entry now.
Okay.
Although we're doing single entry when you're doing control accounts, but to understand where you put what where on in the ledger, in the T account, whether debit or credit,
Or credit, right.
you have to understand the double entry ruling nonetheless.
Okay.
So while we're not doing the separate discount allowed account, but in order to understand where it goes in the sales ledger control account, we have to understand what is the discount allowed entry, which is a debit. So that means the corresponding entry in the sales ledger control account must be a credit entry.
Right. And again, for CXC and CSEC, the common mistake that students will make is that they will mix up which side, what goes on what side.
Good. And not only that, they will also mix up what is for regarding a debtor and what is regarding a creditor.
Yeah.
What item regarding a debtor, what item regarding a creditor. So it's very important that they understand these things from the very early. So what teachers like myself have to do is to ensure that when you teach in the introductory phase, you stress and you beat on these things, because you give them a warning. This is important for topics to come. Because that's the thing with accounts, it's kind of like, whatever you're doing in this topic affect you to understand the other topic as well.
Yeah.
All right? So, yes.
Well, that's good. A little crash course there on control accounts. It's interesting too, because sometimes when we come across these terms in the classroom, not recognizing later on in life, you are going to need to know some of these things, especially if you're going to go into business.
Listen to me.
Yeah.
At my school, I normally advise my students, especially students who are more towards the sciences, that to at least have a business subject, and I dare say take account. So what they would say, no, maybe take PUB, because PUB easy. Yes, I mean, but the truth is that later on they realize that, thank God Mr. Tripidi tell me, say, fill the accounts.
Right.
Because at some point during their courses, whether medicine or whatever, they have also accounts to deal with, because they have to account for the equipment, the whatever, and all of that. And they have to know how to deal with the stock valuation, all of those stuff.
True.
Yeah. And not only that, the truth is that, you're a doctor, say you're a doctor, you do medicine, but you start your own practice. at least you have some knowledge of
Knowledge,
how your
right.
accounting should be done. It's
Exactly.
very important.
Very important, and I totally agree with that. There was a time in my life when I was in banking, and some of these terms, as I look back at them, so we're going to go and talk about accruals and prepayment. And, how you book those entries is also critical as well.
People who normally work in bank,
Yes.
if they don't have accounting background or solid on the accounting background, they tend to have it misconstrued.
Right.
Meaning that if they have a child or ward assisting with their accounts, they may be doing it in the reverse because they do it from the bank's perspective.
Yeah.
So normally when I have students who their parents are bankers, and I do know, we tell them to tell their parents, do not, if they have if they don't have the knowledge in accounts, but basically just in the bank, tell them don't trouble you.
Oh, wow.
Do not. That's what I always tell them. All right. So that's some of the stuff that you have to ensure, because the bank do it the opposite.
Right.
And rightly so, if you understand accounts, the bank can look on it on their perspective. They're not looking at it on nobody else's perspective, because they're trying to have their records okay. You understand me? So that is why. So each business are going to look on it from their perspective. So that's the thing with accounts too, that students have to understand. It depends on whose perspective are we looking at.
Okay.
All right.
So, and then for the accruals and the prepayment, we're going to go to a break shortly. The journals are critical here, right?
For the accruals and prepayment. So we'll, yes, we soon go on break, but I would like to explain to them the whole notion of accruals and prepayment.
All right, so let's take the break, and then we'll come back. We'll speak on that. This is the A-Team Radio Show. We are talking about CSEC accounts. Soon come.
Foolish, I might on a cook. And you not go get no work. And your teeth like a puss. Send me granny with a purse. I eat you off the joke. If I see them,
Exciting news! The Design Studio on Nationwide 90 FM just got a whole lot bigger. Join us this and every Saturday now from 1 to 3 p.m. for an exclusive show that elevates your home, mind, and soul. Discover the latest interior design trends to create your dream sanctuary. Unlock your true potential with personal growth strategies. Nourish your body and spirit with expert wellness tips. Don't miss out on the inspiration you need to live your best life. Tune in to the Design Studio this and every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. and take the first step towards a more fulfilling you.
Make me sweat, make me harder.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come with me. Let's go back in time.
This magic moment.
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Me sing, buff, buff, buff. Every pressure on no buff. You illiterate and foolish, you might on a cook. And you not go get no work. And your teeth like a puss. Send me granny with a purse. I eat you off the joke. If I see them.
Welcome back to the A-Team Radio Show. We are focusing on principles of accounts. Tonight, I have with me Damian Chippy, and just before the break, we were touching on to understand accruals and prepayment. So go ahead and talk to us about that.
All right, as you mentioned earlier, you talk about you were actually, if it was in the journal. The truth is that it can be in the journal, but the focus really regarding the syllabus, CSEC syllabus, is really using the T account to make the necessary adjustment. Now, so accruals and prepayment, students must understand what is accruals, what is prepayment. All right, accruals mean owing, while prepayment mean you pay in advance. Now, the next step that students have to understand regarding accruals and prepayment is that under the CSEC syllabus, all right, we are highly focusing on expenses and revenue. Now, this topic comes about with the concept of accounting, where we talk about the prudent, no, not necessarily prudence concept, but the accruals concept.
Right.
Good. Where whatever expenses that was incurred for a period is
Must
the
be.
expenses that is recorded. Likewise, whatever revenue that is earned for a period, it's the revenue that is recorded. Because we know that somebody can pay more or less on their expense.
And regardless of the inflow or the outflow,
Good.
that principle must still be followed.
Good, that principle must be followed.
Okay.
So, like a perfect example, people can relate. JPS, light
Yes.
bill. Yeah, so me paying light bill. Yeah, so me. No, the truth is that say your light bill come up, you are the business. Yes, your light bill come up to $20,000, but you only pay $15,000.
Right.
Now the reality is that when you're doing the account, irrespective of what you pay, what must be reflected in the income statement is the amount that you incur, which you incur 20,000
right.
worth of usage of light. You understand me? But on the other flip side of it is that yes, your light will come up to $20,000, but for some reason you have extra cash on you and you want to make sure so you stay, make sure you keep up with the game with paying the bills. Because your bills is a forever. It's like it's a reoccurring thing. You understand me?
Right.
So therefore, what you do now, so you pay, say your bill comes to $20,000, but you pay $25,000.
That becomes
No, you remember your bill is 25,000.
20,000, right?
No, the truth is that likewise, I know the 25 is reflected in the income statement.
The 20
It's the
would
20.
be 20.
However, the 25 mean that you pay $5,000 more too much.
Right.
That's the prepaid amount. You get that? Likewise, paying 15,000 will I tell you that you're 5,000 short.
Right.
Yeah, so meaning that you owe JPS 5,000, where if you pay JPS 25, JPS owe you the 5,000. I mean, not that JPS going to give back 5,000.
Yeah, just put it to the next bill.
The next bill.
Yeah.
You know Good. So that's the whole concept of accruals and prepayment.
Right.
Now, so as I said, accruals and prepayment, the focus in regards to the syllabus is on expenses and revenue. So students should understand that expense is where you're looking to pay out. Revenue, you're looking to collect.
Yeah.
Because both expenses and revenue, they have opposite behavior regarding accruals and prepayment. So now let us focus on the expense first.
All right.
Expense is what you're looking to pay out. You, the business, pay out. So that means if you owe the expense, clearly you owe somebody. Anybody who you, the business, owe is treated like a creditor.
Yeah.
And hence the accrued expenses carry credit balance, and hence it is found under the current liability section of the balance sheet.
Right.
Now, in regards to the prepayments now, all right, again, remember expense you look for payout, but you pay more than you should have. Just like you pay 25,000, so you pay 5,000 more than you should have. Now, in this case, now JPS would have owe you 5,000, so JPS would have been treated like a debtor, and hence a prepaid expense carries a debit balance. So these are things that students have to understand, rather than trying to swat to say this go on this side and this go
Right.
that serve no purpose for them. Again, it doesn't matter. They may only can do a question if they have the format in front of them.
Right.
But take that away from them, which in the exam they don't have the format working with. So the understanding of the nature of accruals and prepayment with regards to expenses and with regards to revenue must be understood. You understand? So these are things that you have to emphasize as a teacher to ensure that the students are reinforced with it. Because as I tell them now, is that the exam today are much easier than my time. However, they have to do more analytical, more, analyzing of the
break it
problem.
down,
Yeah, so while back then when I did it, it's a matter of, okay, I know the format, but
same here.
But
When I was
again,
doing-
but that's not the way. In fact, sometimes you may get an accounts paper and you're sorting a POB paper you sit in front of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's more challenging your analytical skills, how much you're able to apply the concept that you have taught. Yeah, some because students think that they're learning something, they're learning it in a vacuum. It's not in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Yes, you're applying it in cases that you've never met before. What you're going to do.
Yeah, and I think too in that along those lines that when you think of accruals and also prepayments, I guess you can think about liability on the accrual side, and then
good for accrued expenses.
For the accrued expenses, yeah.
Good. So so that's why I'm telling you that your expenses and revenue kind of vice versa. Because let me explain now the revenue. Revenue is where you're looking to collect. Not pay out,
Yeah.
So if you hear the word accrued, and you the business owe now, it will be somebody owing you. An example now for revenue, you rent out part of the building. Now, so you look for collect rent from the tenant.
Yeah.
Now, again, if the tenant owe you, it is accrued, don't it? However, that tenant is a debtor, no sir?
Yeah.
So how you treat a debtor carry a debit balance on it. You see, whereas accrued expenses carry credit, accrued revenue carry a debit. One, again, for you to know these things, you have to understand, okay, revenue you're collecting, expense you're paying out. So the accrued have different connotation regarding expense and revenue.
So here's something that comes to mind. So for example, for those of us who are drivers, then, right? If we pay our insurance for next year, so we're paying it in advance.
So okay, so yes, you pay insurance in advance. Good.
How would that be treated?
So you pay insurance is an expense to begin with.
Okay.
Good. So therefore, insurance paid in advance is a prepayment. Prepaid expense is a debit balance. So you'll have a debit balance until your time has lapsed, so you use it up. You understand me?
Right.
Good.
Oh, and so in that case, then we debit what the prepaid.
We debit the prepaid balance of the expense of the insurance account. You understand me?
And then we credit the expense.
And then you have to be careful when you say you credit expense because your debit it's seen that you have a balance of excess payment. However, because normally you debit expense. So when now you use it, when you're using up, so time has lapsed. So next year come, time has lapsed. That balance that you have going vanish. How it going vanish now? Where you go regarding the profit and loss accounts, where the profit and loss account is debited, and then the revenue, the expense account is credited. So they must understand those stuff. Again, with regards to the syllabus of CXC, we use the accruals and prepayment account to determine the profit, what should go into the profit and loss.
Okay.
So again, it will be closed after the profit and loss. But the earlier topics, when I'm teaching balancing off, I would already stress to students that look, expenses and revenue, we don't balance off. We simply close them off to profit and loss. You get that? So when you have an expense account, the profit and loss is closed off on the credit side of the expense account. When you have a revenue account, the profit and loss is closed off on the debit side.
Right.
So again, when we are now doing accruals and prepayment, at no time for expense account, the profit and loss is on the debit side, must be on the credit side at all time.
Yeah.
All right. Likewise with the revenue carry the profit and loss is on the debit side at all times. All right. So there's a format though that you then give students that they start off with, just like control account. You give them the format.
Yeah.
So we start off with opening balance if there's any. So we have an expense account. So we start about with opening balance. You can have an accruals and a prepaid open balance.
Yeah.
So then the next step is talk about what expense is paid for the period, even though what you pay can either be more or less than the actual amount. So you're only recording what was paid. You get that? Whether it's less, more, or the same amount. You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
2, the next thing that you do after that, you make a provision for the profit and loss, even though you don't know what figure goes there as yet. And then the examiner give you the closing balances. Now, this is where students really have a hard time, because the closing balance, if you remember balancing off accounts, the T accounts, you remember that dealing with the closing balance, right? You would have the CD, the balance CD, before you tally up the accounts, and then you bring it down on the opposite side. So wherever the CD is, balance CD, the BD will be on the opposing side
right.
in the new period. So if the year ends December 31st, 2025, right?
So 1st of January.
Good. So the new period now will be the 1st of January 2026. Right? So these are very, very important things that the students have to understand. In order to understand these topics, again, these are troublesome topics for many students on the basis that the critical thinking skills, the teacher have to stress it very much. So if the teacher is a teacher who just do a format or whatever, it's not really doing much for the students.
Wow, well, we're learning a lot about the principles of accounts here, and you might be hearing it, and it might be the first time you're hearing some of these terms, but the truth of the matter is that we use them in everyday life. And I think before we go, Damon, we want to touch a little bit now on the errors, because that's another big thing as well for students. If they're not careful, they talk about error of omission, commission, and the principle and all of that. So I don't know which one I want to start with first, but
so again, errors, another adjustment topic, just like control account and accruals and prepayments.
Yeah.
Now, the reality is that there are 2 types of errors that students have to understand. There's error that do affect the trial balance. What do I mean by that is that the trial balance will never agree. That is, the debit side will not be equal to the credit side in terms of value.
Yeah.
You understand me? Now, the other type of errors is the errors that do not affect the trial balance. That is those type of errors you were alluding to.
Okay.
You understand me? So the errors of commission, errors of omission, transposition errors, error of original entry. You talk about complete reversal of entry. You understand me?
So I want you to touch on that some more when we come back on the other side of this break. That will be our final break. You are listening to the A-Team Radio Show. We're talking about the principles of accounts. Sunko.
And you not gonna get no work, and your teeth like a puss. Send me granny with a purse. I eat you off the joke. If I see them, I hold your breath.
It's the weekend and the youth are taking over the airwaves. Yes, we are the new voices and faces of the Talk Up You radio show. The voice of the Jamaican youth right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
After a busy week of work and school, come and wine with Jamaica's #1 youth radio show.
We're bringing you entertainment, fun facts, and staying true to youth development and advocacy.
Catch the action each and every Saturday as we roll out buzzy segments. What say you?
Youth for chat,
life skills,
global connect, and Bust the Youth.
That's the Talk Up Youth radio show, Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Talk Up Youth, Miss Effie.
Talk Up Youth. Don't miss it.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM with Pepita and Honeybee from 3 to 5 p.m. as we broadcast live from Megamart Waterloo, Saturday, December 20. Pepita and Honeybee plus Megamart equals a festive customer appreciation celebration. Join us at Megamart Waterloo for the customer appreciation festivities, samplings, entertainment, and more. Pepita and Honeybee are doing it mega with Megamart. Come be part of the mega broadcast with Pepita and Honeybee, Saturday, December 20, 2025 at Megamart Waterloo from 3 to 5 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Me sing, boop, boop, boop. Every pressure on no more. You illiterate and foolish, you might on a cook. And you not gonna get no work, and your teeth like a puss. Send me granny.
Welcome back to the A-Team Radio Show. We're in our last segment of the show. We're looking at accounts this evening, and we're talking about how we make up the income statement and all of that. Trial balance is important to that process, and there before the break we were talking about there are some errors that affect the trial balance.
And there are some errors that do not affect the trial
Right,
balance.
so let's pick up there.
Now, the error that affect the trial balance, that is the trial balance will not agree. The debit and the credit column will not be equal.
Yes.
Good. Now, these errors are called suspense errors. And again, suspense is on the basis that you don't know.
Right.
Yes, I mean,
So you need a
you
suspense
can't see
account
to locate it and all
Yes.
of that. You get that? So you call these a suspense account.
Right.
Now, so why you get a suspense account, or let me just layman term say, why you get the one side, the debit side not equal to the credit side is because you make an error on a single entry.
Okay.
So the error didn't follow the double entry ruling. You just make an error on a single entry. Like for example, here you bought goods for cash, $500. Now in the cash book, you had recorded $500 correctly on the credit side of the cash book because you give up the cash.
Right.
But with regards to the sales, you bought your purchases, with regards to purchases now, you made an error and didn't record it, none at all. So you realize that you only make a single entry right there. You never. So the cash is on the credit side, but you were supposed to make a debit entry with the purchases account, which you totally forget. Whatever it is, why you never follow up on that.
Right.
So you realize that the debit side and the credit side would not agree. Right? So this is called a suspense error. Again, these errors are obvious. You will see that on the basis that the debit and the credit column is not equal. And then we talk about the errors that do not affect the trial balance. Rightly so. When I say do not affect the trial balance, what it means is that although the trial balance, the debit and the credit columns are equal, the reality is that there are errors that there are some errors. Now, you know, when we tell students that don't be too happy when you get a trial balance. Why not, sir? And but I was reminded that remember, the trial balance doesn't tell you that everything is okay with your accounts. What it does, it recognizes the arithmetic calculation of the debit and the credit side of the account.
But the principle itself.
But you may fall back on some of the principles.
Yeah.
You get that? So there are various type of errors that the students will have to know with regards to that do not affect the trial balance. So you have the error of principle. Now, error of principle is just the wrong type of account. For instance, you buy a fixed asset and you record it as an expense. So while the double entry ruling is observed there, and there will be no obvious value, there's no obvious impact on the debit and the credit column. But what you'll do is you tend to overstate your expense. Because you say you enter expense when you buy a fixed asset. You overstate your expense and you understate your fixed asset. You understand me?
Right.
So it do affect you in terms of your accounting reading. You understand me? No, so that's error of principle, the wrong classification of accounts. So you buy a fixed asset, but you classify it as an expense. All right? So both the fixed asset and the expense would have been a debit. So it doesn't matter whether you put it as an expense or the fixed asset, it's debit. So you realize the error now will pick up.
Right.
Good. Now then we talk about the error of commission. Although I tell the students that the commission is more than how it's presented in CXC, but layman term we just normally say the wrong name account, meaning that
wrong account but current amount.
I'm going to tell you two ways. So in CXC layman term, we tend to tell them say just the wrong name account, meaning that you sold goods and credit to Boy George. However, you record it as Girl George.
Okay.
You understand me? So it's the right classification, but it's just the wrong account.
Right.
So these are personal accounts. You get that? So again, you sold goods and credit to Boy George, but instead of recording it as a Boy George, you record it as Girl George.
Right.
So
and the figure might be correct.
So the figure is correct and everything.
Correct.
But again, you make an error because the truth is that you didn't sell the goods to Girl George.
Yes. So it's in the wrong account, and then we have to figure out how to
you can have some problems with that as well in collecting your funds.
Yeah.
Right? So that's error of commission. But as I tell them, commission is not only dedicated to just the wrong name account. It's just that, as I said, error of commission is the right class of accounts. However, it's just the wrong account to enter. For instance, you do a cash sales of $300 where the money was paid directly into the bank. However, you record it in the cash book as a cash. You can't record it that the money was paid into the bank. So it's really the bank that is affected. So right class of accounts, but it's just the wrong account. You understand me? So they must understand that as well. Right? Then we speak about, so we have error of
omission, commission.
Omission. Let us say omission now.
Yeah.
Error of omission. This is where you completely leave a transaction
not
out.
Recorded at all.
You know you don't record it none at all. So you're supposed to, so you realize that there's no recording made on the debit and the credit entry. So it's 0-0. Just the same. So again, this type of error will not be recognized on the basis that the debit column and the credit column of the trial balance will still agree. You got that? Then we talk about complete reversal of entry. This one is a nice one. Right? Why? Because I like to give them what happened in the bank regarding me and this. Now, complete reversal of entry is where the correct amount was entered. The right account was entered. However, you just enter it on the wrong side of both accounts. For example, I paid a debtor, Mr. Biggs. A debtor paid us. Mr. Biggs paid us in cash $500. The truth is, the cash would have been on the debit side, but instead of putting the $500 on the debit side, they put it on the credit side.
Okay.
Mr. Biggs would have owed us less. So a reduction in the debtor would have been on the credit side, but you make a mistake and put it on the debit side. So now, right account, right amount is just the wrong entry. So this error will not be easily picked up on the basis that the debit side and credit side will still agree, because you still put $500 on the debit side and $500 on the credit side. Good. So it will not affect the trial balance. Now, in order to correct this type of error, because again, correcting the error, knowing the error is one, but you have to have the art in correcting the error.
Yeah, and with how you do it. And
I mean? Good. So that's complete reversal of entry. Then we have the transposition error, where it's simply you mix up the numbers. You understand me? You have a digit of 798, but you put 789. You understand me? Which that's a natural error for many people. Some people in some point come across those errors. You understand me?
I can attest to that.
Good. So you have those type of error, transposition errors.
Right.
Then we...
and I want to say too, that's why even for those persons who are in accounts, it's good to have that meticulous approach that as you're going through the statements at the end of the month, that you're looking at the figures that have been entered.
And the truth is, if you're dealing with number crunching, that sometimes the numbers, they play tricks by you.
I have to go over it several times.
Yes, I mean, good. You have to be very careful. So we have the transposition error with complete reversal, error of omission, error of principle, error of commission, and then we have error of original entry, where when we talk about original entry, we're talking about the journals, the 5 journals, the cash book. So we talk about the general journal, the sales journals, the purchases journal, return inward journal, return outwards journals. You understand me? Where you made error from the
from the start,
from the very beginning of recording. You understand me?
So wrong amount entered.
Good. So you realize that you carry that incorrect figure right throughout the different cycle of accounting. So you understand me? So when you reach, because you entered originally in the books, that error is not picked up. Alright? Good. And then, last but not least, you have compensating error.
Yes.
Where two errors cancel out each other. I mean, when I teach maths, I always tell them that sometimes they say, but sir, I get it right just the same. I say, I'm not looking for right answers. I'm looking at your algorithm. You make 2 errors at 2 different steps. it's just that one error cancel out the other one. So you see, you have the right answer, yes, but no, your process of going about it is wrong. It's compensating error, where one error cancel out the other error. All right, that's with compensating error.
Yeah.
So regarding errors now, so while you may know the different types of errors, the one that do not affect the trial balance, that's the one with those will list, plus the ones that do affect the trial balance, which is the suspense error. You understand me? The next part of it, where students have to understand, is now how do we go about correcting these errors?
Yeah.
So this is where the journals come in. We journalize, so we don't rub out and mark out and put this, that, no.
So the journal will help to move whatever the errors are.
In fact, many of the accounting softwares, they are programmed for that. In order to correct the entry, that journal is actually been done.
I remember that because I think my former boss always talked to me about that, the importance of writing the journal. And that is critical too in the month-end operations in terms of, as you said, correcting the error. And then you wait, they're like, oh, but the same error that was there from the last month, because we didn't do the journal to correct it, you see it also doubled. Right. So I remember a couple of things, but
here we go.
Right. Wow, almost out of time. And we're almost at the hour, but I know there's a lot more that we can say, but we're definitely going to have to come back to have the part 2 of the conversation as we head into the examination period. But what it is that you'd want to leave with the students for now, as they, over the holidays, as they enjoy themselves, but I hope that they're still going to take up 1 or 2 past papers. What's the message that you want to leave with them?
So, as it is, the message that I want to leave with students now and during the holiday period is to get yourself, engaged. Don't be too laid back and too relaxed. Enjoy yourself, yes. But then again, especially with accounts, it's a matter of practicing. You understand me? You have to still try to go through your practicing. Try and practice based on the topics that you have covered so far. See if you can find a CXC related question that's under the topic that you have covered, and try practicing, because try get yourself sensitized to the questions that you will see when you do the exam. Yes, I'm not the same question, but the formation of the exam. Right.
Great. Thanks for sharing that. And lastly, as we go, I know you have some marathon sessions that are happening throughout the holidays. Just quickly again, just tell us when those dates are and how a person can get in contact with you.
Person can get in contact with Chippy Tutoring Services at 876-476-2277. Miss Mac will surely answer.
Yes.
Right? And then we have the Instagram Chippy Tutoring, because these marathons are also the dates scheduling are posted on our Instagram as well.
And I believe I see there December 13th to 23rd and 27th to 30th of 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, listeners, viewers, my guest this evening, Damian Chippy. And we just went through a part 1, I'm going to say part 1 of account, because when we come back, I know we want to touch on the statement of affairs. And that's going to be after the holidays. So keep your affairs together. When we come back, we'll talk about the financials. I want to say thank you so much, Damian, for coming through and speaking with us and edifying us and teaching us the principles of accounting. I want to say thank you so much again to our executive producer, of course, Dennis Brooks, our technical operator, Andrew Anderson, and again, have a great weekend. And tuning out from studio, I'm Damian Scarlett. Have a wonderful night.
Send me granny with a purse, I eat you off a joke. If I see them, I hold your red and big tonight, you puke.